Hey, welcome everyone to Emergency Planning. It's a great class, a lot of fun, a lot of good information, but we're going to cover a lot of topics in a very short period of time. So time management is key, keeping an idea on what's coming up, and we'll talk about that each week. We'll have some videos and some information to help you stay focused, because between family, work, and school, and then those other things that creep up in life, things happen and we get busy. So I want to take a quick second to introduce myself. My name is Chris Harris, and you'll see from my resume, or however you like to look at it, or introduction in the class introduction section, I currently am a human resource director. Now you wonder, how does a HR director teach emergency response or an emergency preparedness and things like that? My career prior to that was a full-time paramedic. I won't tell you the year that I got my initial EMT, but I went back 2 years later, went to paramedic school, became a full-time paramedic, worked for a number of different agencies, including high-volume 911 systems, private EMS, rural EMS, and things of that nature. In those roles, I served in a number of command capacities, in which I was responsible for looking at threats and hazards and helping develop mitigation plans, developing continuance of operation plans for our own department, and then serving in command roles at actual disasters. So I do have some experience there. I promise I didn't just stay at a Holiday Inn last night. So with that in mind, I am excited, and I will tell you that I learn from each of you, each class that I teach. So please do not feel like you don't have thoughts and information to contribute. And really, I look forward to that. Love the discussions. Don't care to grade them, but I do like the engagement and the interaction. So please feel free to participate as fully as you're able. So, topics. What are we going to learn in this class? What are we going to talk about? So Unit 1, as you see if you're in the course shell, and I'm just showing a picture today, is the foundation. We're going to talk a little bit about FEMA. How did FEMA come into being? Some of the issues and struggles that have happened. And you might get a sense that this course is trying to beat on FEMA a little bit. Please don't think that. That's not the intent of the class. But we do need to recognize some areas that FEMA did not do as successfully in responding and mitigating the disaster as they probably should have. And Hurricane Katrina is one such incident. And of course, we're kind of getting into hurricane season at this point, so we're going to see some issues again. Hopefully nothing severe, but it'll be a case study in real time, so to speak. So Unit 2, we're talking about hazards and risks. What's the difference? How are they similar? How do we prepare or mitigate those things? Unit 3, we're going to talk about managing emergencies just a little bit, and we're going to get introduced to the incident command system. Now, if you're not familiar with that, that's okay, because we're going to talk about that and address that. You'll also complete your ICS 100 course during Unit 3. Unit 4, we moved just a little bit to disaster management. We're kind of expanding our scope just a little bit as we look at disasters and how we manage those, and what the interplay is between government and private entities to some degree, because there are more companies out there. Used to, when I was a kid, you had an emergency, you called the fire department, because in my community where I grew up, the ambulance initially was a private company, and they would respond if the fire department called and said, hey, we're going to need an ambulance. Of course, with the advent of 911, a lot of that changed, and of course, private ambulance became part of the fire department, so it was a tiered response. And of course, emergency management was its own entity and interacted with the various response agencies and public safety agencies. So 5, we're going to develop a plan. We're going to take some of the information we've learned up to that point, and we're going to start looking at developing a basic emergency plan. Now, Unit 5 is your mastery level assignment, so you might want to take a look at that early on and kind of get an understanding for the scope of that project. I will tell you, please do not use your home, do not use your workplace. Let's look at other opportunities. You know, the intent of the assignment is for you to help develop an emergency response plan. And there's nothing worse than saying, well, my workplace, we use this plan, and you're trying to pass off a pre-developed plan as your own assignment. That will not fare well for your grade or your academic integrity standing, because technically that's plagiarism. So please do not do that, but look at Unit 5 and you'll see the requirements of the assignment. We'll talk about it more as it gets closer. And then lastly, Unit 6, we're going to talk about the future of emergency management, because this field continues to grow and develop on an immense basis. As you know, there's been no shortage of emergencies or disasters and things like that, but also technology continues to develop to support this field. And then, of course, there's artificial intelligence and some of those things that continue to also grow and develop. The other assignment that you'll do in Unit 6 is your ICS 200. Now, I want to touch just briefly, and then I'm going to close out the introduction video here. Your ICS courses are free. They're sponsored as part of the Department of Homeland Security. Once you get done with your degree program, I would encourage you to also, if you do not have already, 7 and 800. Those are free classes that you can take online, and they're very informative. Now, there is an ICS 300 and ICS 400. However, those are on what I call on-ground classes. You typically have to find somebody that's teaching those and sign up. And generally, it's a 2, perhaps 3-day class. Excuse me. But they are also very informative if you get the opportunity. There's no shortage of free education out there. Feel free to look around and you'll find it. So, but again, focus on getting your degree and finishing the class first before you do that. With that in mind, I'm going to close out. I welcome everybody to the class, and I look forward to interacting with you over the next few weeks. And certainly, if you have questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out. One point of interest that just popped into my head: if you already have the 1 and 200, you do not have to retake it. You can submit your certificate during those weeks or beforehand, and I will accept that for credit. So if you've already done the 1 and 200, then you're steps ahead, and you'll have some free time to work on other projects like the mastery assignment and project or Unit 5. So with that in mind, thanks again, everyone. Look forward to having you in the class. Have a good day.